What's up, guys? Let me tell you a quick story from last week. So I was in the gym and I was almost finished my workout. I was hitting like chest or back, definitely not legs. Like that doesn't happen too often, so we're going to rule that one out. And just before I finish my workout, literally finish my workout, one of my friends comes over and he's like, "Man, do you want to play some ping pong?" And I'm like, we have some ping pong tables downstairs and some badminton. And I've looked at these ping pong tables before and thought, I haven't played ping pong in so long. Like, that'd be so cool. And literally, next few days, the guy comes over and he's like, "Do you want to play some ping pong?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's play some ping pong." So we go downstairs. He is offering me to, take his racket. He has like a really expensive table tennis racket. It's like 150 euros. That's like $200 or something. I'm like, no, it's all good. Like, I'll use the one that I rented for like a few dollars. And I end up being really bad, but it ended up being a fun time. Go back upstairs after playing for like 1 hour, and hit a few more sets of pull-ups. And I noticed my friend, he's talking to this guy on the treadmill. And I've seen that guy on the treadmill before. He's like, one of the guys that I've actually paid attention to, because he has like a really well developed beard and he was hitting some impressive weights. Like, for his size, he's hitting some good weights, like 60 kgs or 70 kgs on the Smith machine for shoulders. Like that's not including the bar. And I was like, whoa, that's some good weight. So I end up going over. My friend introduces me to that guy on the treadmill. His name is Connie, actually a cool guy. He ends up being from Latvia. He speaks Russian, the same language that I speak. So we end up talking in Russian. He's speaking really broken Russian. I can barely understand him. So we go back to English. And yeah, just, fist bump, whatever. Next day, or next few days, I go back into the gym. I'm hitting my workout. I'm probably doing back or doing shoulders or chest. Definitely not legs again. And I see that guy. We fist bump. I'm like, "Oh, what's up, Connie?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, what's up?" And I'm like, "Man, like, I notice his arm. It's like looking swollen, like proper, not in a bad way, like in a good way, like vascular. Veins are everywhere. Like his bicep is, you can see veins everywhere. Like, I'm usually not that vascular in the gym. Towards the end of my workout, it would be a little bit vascular. But I'm like, shoot him a compliment. Looking good. Like, you're putting in the work. It's paying off." And he's like, "Oh, thanks, man, thanks." Like, yeah. Like, it's progress. Like, we're hitting some progress. And then he's like, "Oh, the left arm is not that good though. Like, the left arm is swollen." And I pay attention to his left arm. I never really paid attention. I'm not that attentive of a guy. Like, I'm not really attentive. I don't have good attention to detail. So I pay attention to his left arm. And it's proper swollen. It's like inflamed. It's nearly like twice the size, but not in a good way. His arm is red, like puffy. And I'm like, "Yo, what's up with your arm?" And he's like, "Oh, I missed the injection site. Like, I missed the spot where I usually inject." And that's straightforward. I'm like, "Yo, like, do you use steroids?" And he's like, yeah, I use testosterone and I use D-ball." And I'm like, "Whew, that's hard." Like, if you don't know what test and D-ball is, it's basically two anabolic steroids. Testosterone, or test, is basically TRT. Like, a lot of people are on it, especially people who are close to like 40 or 50 years of age, whose testosterone levels are already dipping down, and they just try and supplement with extra testosterone. So they have, like, testosterone for us males is the most important hormone in the whole body. So, once our testosterone goes down, you don't like the effects. So people try and substitute with different types of testosterone or other kinds of steroids. So this guy's on two steroids. D-bol is some other kind of steroid, like very closely linked to tren. So I'm like, "Yo, like, that's pretty wild." Like, I've not really talked to anyone who's using steroids like that. So I asked him a few questions, like, "So how do you feel, and how long have you been working out?" He's like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm working out for 11 months. I'm like, 11 months? Like, that's a short time. And he's like, "Oh, how long have you working out?" I'm like, 13 years. And he's like, "Oh, no way." Like, yeah, 13 years. So basically end up asking him, like, "How do you feel?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, sometimes I feel like I can lift a house." I'm like, okay. Anyways, we end up talking a little bit more. I'm like, how old are you? He's like, 25. I'm like, he's like, how old are you? I'm 26, whatever. Ends up showing me some videos on his phone of like the Trent twins, you know, the actual YouTubers that use a lot of steroids and post like fitness related YouTube videos. I'm like, oh, cool, like that's cool. And he's like, yeah, I want to be like that guy. I'm like, okay. And then he shows me another guy, like Kirill, can't remember the second name, but he holds the record for the biggest bench press in the world, like 400 kilos bench press, which is pretty crazy. And the guy is literally like a bear, like he's massive. Like the guy probably weighs like 150 kgs, like he's on every kind of steroid imaginable. And he shows me that guy and I'm like, whoa, like, you know, that's a big guy. And, you know, Connie, that guy that I've literally just talked to, like he's full of acne, like all this common side effects of steroids. You know, it looks pretty nasty. So we end up like fist bumping. I'm like, oh, good luck, like, you know, be careful, don't inject into the wrong side again. And that's it. And I end up going home with a lot of questions and a lot of like thoughts. And I'm just like, the main thing that stuck out to me is that guy has not been incentivized by his own brain to do this. He's not been like, oh, one day I woke up and I'm like, I'm gonna inject myself with steroids. No, that's not what happened. One day he stumbled upon the Trent twins, probably on TikTok or whatever, YouTube, some other, you know, fitness influencers who are pushing this ideology of, you know, it's cool to take all these anabolic steroids and be physically enhanced, and thought, you know what, there's no heckin' way that I'm reaching this level without any kind of supplementation. So I'm gonna try and hop on some steroids. So this is probably what happened. So he has been influenced to take all of these steroids rather than actually using his own brain or his own initiative to do it. So that began another thought process in my brain. Boom, brain's, you know, spinning and making all of these connections. And I'm like wondering how many people are actually using steroids. Probably way more than I actually think. Because, you know, I seen this video on YouTube again. It was basically the UK has legalized steroids, like it's decriminalized or whatever. So the whole of UK has decriminalized it. And there was a video of a guy asking everyone, oh, are you using steroids? And they're like, yeah, like they're so open about it. And I remember a few times where I was actually talking to a few people using steroids, and you wouldn't ever think that they use steroids or injecting themselves with like testosterone or whatever. So that made me like realize a lot of people are actually very insecure of how they look like, and they want to kind of speed up the process of getting big or getting into shape or getting to a place or to a shape that they want to be in. So that made me also then question a lot of people who are getting plastic surgery and all the other bodily enhancements. And I kind of found it pretty sad. So basically that guy was 25, working out for around 11 months, and he's already injecting himself with steroids. He didn't even let the phase of newbie gains pass. Like he didn't even reach the newbie gains phase, and he's already doing this. Like he will need to inject himself with testosterone all his life if he wants to maintain some kind of normal testosterone levels, because once you start injecting yourself with testosterone or other kinds of anabolic steroids, your body stops producing those very much needed hormones like testosterone. Like your body does not need to then produce its own. It's like, oh cool, I'm getting all of this testosterone, boom, let's shut off all of our production sites of testosterone, and now you need to rely on this drug for the rest of your life. What a stupid decision at 25 years of age. All because of some influencer dickhead that promoted this lifestyle, and he thought, oh yeah, this would be a good idea. Like your brain is not still fully developed at 25. Like I'm 26 and I still talk a lot of nonsense most times. So, you know. Anyways, that made me think, how many people actually get plastic surgery? How many girls want to change like their noses, their lips? Like half of the girls you see have like massive lips, like weird looking lips, or, you know, have plastic surgery done elsewhere. Why? Because of social media. Because they go on social media, they become insecure, They go, oh yeah, look at all these Hollywood stars and look at all these celebrities getting all of these, you know, plastic surgeries, looking younger. They all have a lot of makeup on. Like, even if they don't have like plastic surgery, they have a lot of makeup on. They all try and look perfect. They try and push this whole narrative of, look at me, I'm so perfect. And obviously the average viewer like you and me are going to watch these videos or go on these platforms, or it's everywhere. It's on TV, it's on the news, it's all across media. You look at it, you see people who are near looking perfect. Like, perfect does not exist. Like, it's the definition of perfect by Hollywood standards. And me and you go and we look at these people and we say, man, I look nothing like that. Like, you become insecure. You become, yeah, self-aware of how you look like, and you want to change that because, you know, the cool thing is to look like that, like those celebrities, like those Hollywood stars, like those people who take testosterone, who put on a lot of makeup, and it just, yeah, it leaves you out. It just makes you feel like an outcast because all of these people are, you know, getting all the attention. Like, not saying that attention is cool at all or anything, but these people are getting basically all of the praise because look at this, like, I look like that, and you look in the mirror and you're like, I look nothing like that. So that makes you want to change things. How do you change it? Taking steroids or putting on a lot of makeup, or even going to lengths of getting plastic surgery. Well, what is my advice to people who are insecure because they look at those social media posts or any kind of media post and feel any kind of insecurity? What is my advice to those kinds of people? Well, maybe before deciding to take steroids or inject yourself with anything or modify your body in any way like plastic surgery, try and actually quit social media for the start of it. Like, for the start, quit social media. Stop looking at all these media sources like the news and maybe movies. Like, Hollywood movies are probably one of the worst things you can look at because it's just filled with people who are enhanced. You know, they're fake. Like, half of their bodies are probably fake. They're also CGI, somehow modified. Like, they have a lot of makeup on. It's probably the worst thing you could be watching. Not even talking about social media. Like, that's even worse. People post the worst sides of, like, the worst sides of themselves on social media. Like, they think they're the best sides, but it's like vanity. It's the worst sides of themselves. Because, you know, it makes you feel insecure. It makes you feel like not worth it, you know? It makes you feel worthless. So, yeah, maybe you should minimize your exposure to these types of, you know, media sources before you make any rash decisions, before you actually decide to inject yourself with something or get plastic surgery. Like, this would be step number one. And, you know, I find it quite sad that we are allowing this type of behavior go on the media or in the world in general. Like, if you look at women, if you look at girls, they get away with so much. They put on so much makeup, and it probably makes the other girls feel awful. The ones that don't want to put on makeup, the ones that don't want to, you know, spend hundreds or thousands of dollars or euros on makeup, it makes them feel awful because they feel ugly. Next to you girls putting on makeup, them, you know, pretty girls or normal girls, they feel awful because, you know, those are the standards. And especially once you post it on Instagram, and, you know, any normal person, they'll have some kind of social media app, and, you know, they scroll. Obviously it's their own fault because they're choosing to be on that app, they're choosing to consume this information. It's their own fault, but still, it makes them feel insecure, it makes them feel insignificant, and it's kind of bad. So I feel like, yeah, we need some more natural, we need some more natural people in this world. We need transparency. If you're using some kind of drugs, if you're getting plastic surgery, if you're even putting on makeup, or even like putting on a filter, like, filters have become so popular. Like, if you're doing anything to make yourself look better than you actually are, you should be completely transparent on the whole idea of making yourself look better than you actually are, because that makes the other person that watches your content feel worse about themselves. This is, it's very logical. I don't understand how more people do not get this. And yeah, overall, this includes even more It's like you watch YouTube videos and people cut up their videos into like segments of perfection. They try and look perfect. They try and say the perfect thing. It's all scripted. It's all thought of like for 20 hours. You have the perfect thing to say, and boom, 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 they say it. And then, I try and make a video. I stumble across my words and I'm like, man, how are all these people making these videos that are so perfect? They don't. So, yeah, I feel like we need to bring back some naturality and some genuinity in this world. But yeah, that's kind of my rant over. Thanks for listening. And yeah, quit social media. Take a step and be the first one to actually take that step, because maybe other people will follow. Maybe other people will see what actionable steps you're doing and they will lead by example. You can be the example. You can be the start of setting an example, because it's no point telling people, oh yeah, quit social media, do this and that. It's like, if they see you acting, if they see you going off social media, acting in a certain way, your natural way, not putting on some kind of front. Maybe you stop putting on makeup. If you're a girl watching this video, maybe you stop putting on makeup and say, you know what, I'll just be all natural. Some other girl will see you and be like, yeah, cool. Like that's real confidence right there. And she will copy you, and then, she won't be putting on makeup, and it'll create this like snowball effect of like no girls putting on makeup, and that'd be pretty sick. Like, imagine if all men now started putting on makeup. Like, what kind of... I don't think that'll happen, but anyways, that's my rant over. Thanks for listening, and as always, peace.